Okay, everyone, this is Dr. Kwaidu again with another segment of the Smile Code podcast, and I'm here again with Joejoe. We did a segment with Joejoe, um, and it was truncated in a way because it was just a part of the story that was shared, and there is just so much more to Joejoe and Andy's story, um, which which really sheds light on how blessed Andy is and how why he's supposed to be here against all odds. You know, the doctors really didn't have any faith that he was going to make it, and he did. And it pretty much started, I think, the second day after he was born. He was born normal, and then he developed a brain um, condition or a hemorrhage in the brain. It was the worst possible scenario case category that he could have had, and he came through that. So I will turn it over to Joe. Welcome back, Joe, and if you can
Thank
take
you.
us through the time in the hospital a day after Andy was born, and also the promise that you made to Andy's mom, and how that all
Okay.
unfolded.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Jojo. A little bit about Andy's journey. So Andy was born on November 5th, 2006. Um, when he was born, he was he was born as a preemie. So he came in a little bit early. He was only 25 weeks. Now, 25 weeks of gestation means that, you know, in in a layman's terms, he was just way too early. In fact, when he was born, he was smaller than the palm of my hand. He was,
Mhm,
I think, he weighed only um, 1.5 pounds. I mean,
mhm,
just a tiny little baby. So he was born 25 weeks. Now, the second day after he was born, he developed an IVH, intraventricular hemorrhage, bilateral grade 4, which is the worst of the kind. When you have brain hemorrhage, I guess they're categorized into grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4. Typically, when you get a grade 4, that means that it's the worst of the kind. And typically, most folks don't
don't make
really,
it.
yeah. And all so considering the fact that he was born preemie,
Mhm,
the odds and chances didn't look really good. And uh, and so and so this started our journey. Well, early on, the doctors came to us and said, "What? Well, based on the hemorrhage, they didn't think he was going to make it out alive, and so they wanted us to, with my permission, they wanted me to give them the permission for them to take him off life support, and I said no, I couldn't do that because I believed in a higher being, and that um, I believed that he would make it out alive. Okay.
mhm,
Um, uh, this 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 happened for quite some time. Every day they would come to us and they would say, hey, is today going to be the day that we take him off life support? And again, I would say, no, it's not going to be today. I'm not going to pull him out of life support. And they were putting a lot of pressure on us. And so this happened for a few days, and then one day they came and they said, "Well, sir, Andy is really sick, and we have to take him to the OR. We don't think he's going to make it out alive because based on his condition, that he's had this hemorrhage and how he's feeling, I don't think he's going to make it out alive. So today may be a very good time for us to take him out life support." And so they called in um, um, I guess the a bishop to come and administer his final rites. I said, "Sir, what are you doing here? My son is not dead. He's going to come out alive out of the surgery." They were surprised, and so I told the doctors that, "Look, I believe in a higher God. Uh, I believe in a prayer answering God. He's going to listen to my cry for help in that, and he's going to be okay. Just take him to the OR and operate on him." We waited several hours. They came back completely surprised. They said, "Sir, I don't know what happened, but he did exceedingly well beyond our wildest expectations, and that he's recovering very well, and we'll see what happens over the next couple of days." Next couple of days came, and he was doing really well, and to to the surprise of all the doctors. Now, this was just one surgery. The following week, they came back. They said, "Sir, your son is doing real. Your son is sick. We may have to take him to the OR again and operate on him. We don't think he's going to make it out alive this time around." Again, we had the same conversation. I told them that, "Look, I believe in a prayer answering God. He's going to listen to my cry for help, and that I believe Andy's going to be okay. So just go ahead and take him to the OR and operate on him. He's going to do just fine." Several hours went back. They came back. They said, "Sir, again, the same rhetoric. Sir, we don't know what happened, but he did exceedingly well. We can't explain. He's doing well. He's in the recovery room, and we'll see what happens over the next couple of days." So this happened over the next several weeks. The next several weeks, one operation after another. So it got to a point they stopped asking me, "Sir, are you going to take him off life support, or should we go through with the
With the
surgery?"
surgery.
With a surgery. Um, and so this went on. Like I said, this went on for several weeks until I think when it was about a month and a half in the NICU. That's when uh, that's when the number of surgeries kind of tapered off a little bit,
Hmm.
to where he wasn't being rushed into the OR.
Into the OR anymore.
Yeah,
Hmm.
anymore.
So he had multiple surgeries, multiple surgeries.
Yes,
Each
yes,
time they didn't think he was strong enough to go through it, and at one
yes.
point even had the priest in there to administer the last the
Right,
last
right.
rites
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
of that. Oh dear.
yeah. And
But
so
each time
throughout
they
his,
came back amazed because
yes,
Andy pulled through, and they
and he
couldn't even
pulled through.
understand how he was able to make it. Yeah.
Correct, absolutely. And so, one day I was getting ready for work, and then the doctor called me. The doctor called me, and again, I thought he was going to give me some bad news, but this time around, he said, "Sir, I don't know what happened. I can't explain it, But now Andy is doing so much better that I think we're gonna move him from I guess uh, um, from from being I guess in the
From
NICU.
critical care to normal
Yeah,
care.
yeah, critical care to normal care, but still he was in the NICU, which is
The
the
neonatal. Hmm.
yeah, intensive care unit. But
Hmm.
they moved him away from the critical care to the normal care, and I
Hmm.
and the doctor was surprised. He said, "Sir, I can't explain it. I don't know what happened, but he's doing so much better that we think he's going to be okay. He's going to make it out." Uh, uh, out of life. Now, baby man, when Andy was born, none of the doctors, I mean zero, none of them gave him a chance to
A
live.
fighting chance to live. Yeah.
Not even a fighting chance to live beyond the second day. Each time he defied all odds
Hmm.
and came out of all the multiple surgeries.
Surgeries that he had to go through.
Not one surgery, but multiple surgeries.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so and so this happened, I think, a month and a half um, uh, um, while he was in the hospital. Now, um, he ended up spending about 4.5 months in the hospital,
Hmm.
and at a time when we were leaving the hospital, none of the doctors, none of the nurses, no one could believe that Andy was leaving the hospital. In
Was
fact,
being
the baby
discharged.
was
Hmm.
being discharged.
They
The,
couldn't
the,
believe it. They didn't think he was going to make it, but he
no,
did.
no, nobody gave him a fighting chance. And so the day we were leaving the hospital at the reception area, I mean, it was so emotional. All the doctors on duty that day, all the nurses, everyone came to the reception area to bid Andy farewell.
Hmm.
You know that to wish him well.
Yes.
And and it looked like a little party scene where
Yes.
everybody was just happy, just excited for him. Couldn't believe
Yeah.
that Andy was
Yeah.
leaving.
Didn't you say that he set the record? He set the
Yes, he
record
did.
for
Yes, he
the
did.
sickest baby ever to leave the hospital.
Yes, yes. At that time in 2006, he had set the record for being you know uh, the most sick baby or the sickest baby to ever leave
To
the
ever
hospital,
leave, ever be discharged.
to ever
Yes.
be discharged. And he had also set the record for being the sickest baby to spend the most days in the NICU. And I think at that
Oh.
time it was 141 days or something like that.
Oh, wow. So he was in
Yeah,
there for 141 days,
a
and
long time.
really the statistics show that he wouldn't make it, but he
No,
did. He
yes,
did.
he did.
Which is a testament to the unyielding faith of
Yes,
a loving father, and also to those doctors and nurses who
yes,
remained open.
open.
Because
Yes,
if they hadn't remained open, they would have given up. I mean, they could have
yeah,
easily given up during surgery. They could have
yeah.
just,
They could have
just
easily, yeah,
approached it with a certain attitude and say, "Oh, this is
hmm
just taking up space and time
space.
or whatever." And so they remained open. The doctors did, the nurses did. And didn't you say something about Andy was so beloved that the nurses would fight over who would take care of him?
Yes, yes. So when it's so funny that so when he was in the NICU, he was so loved by everyone that it came to time that the nurses would fight over who was going to take care of Andy that day. And as a father, that you know, um, it made me feel I
Blessed,
don't know. I don't know whether, yeah, made me feel blessed, made me feel good to know that, my sick child
cared
was
for
being loved and being
by
cared
all
for in
these
that way.
people. Hmm.
All these people who didn't even know him. So
Yeah,
even at that tender age, he would still be a joy and a blessing to all those who came in
the
contact with
doctors and
him,
nurses. Yes.
to the point where they were fighting over who to take care of him that day. And I thought it was very comical and funny to see that happen. But yeah, it was
It was like,
right.
who gets to take care of Andy today? We just love him
Yeah.
so much, There were, I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of other sick babies
Yes.
too,
Yes, there were. Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
were drawn to Andy right from the
Yeah.
get-go, didn't they?
And
That's really special.
yeah.
So our hats go off to those doctors, those
Yes. They did an
nurses,
incredible job. Yeah.
all those angels that,
Hmm.
were placed in your path
Hmm.
to help Andy come along.
Hmm. And there was one doctor in particular, his main doctor. So even after we left the hospital, this doctor could not believe what had happened, and so we stayed in touch for
Hmm.
many years after we left
Well, the
the
hospital.
hospital. He would love to see pictures of Andy. He would
Mhm,
love to know how Andy was doing.
mhm,
What are the
mm,
things that he's capable of doing now? And
mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
so this went on for many years, and I think when he was about 10 years old, 10 years or so, that's when I lost touch with the
You
doctor.
lost touch with him, yes.
Yeah,
I'll bet you all those doctors and nurses would have their jaws would drop now, knowing that it's been 17
so
and a
yeah,
half
17,
years,
yeah, yeah.
and Andy is still defying the
Hmm.
odds. And not only that, he is just blessing and such a
Hmm.
blessing everyone he comes in contact with, and he's just such a joy
Yes, he is.
in the whole journey. Now, on a journey like this, no one can really handle or take care
Hmm.
of these types of challenges, life challenges. There's
Hmm.
always people who are placed in our path. Now, for you, it was someone really special. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, for me, I mean, like you said, um, a journey like this, you cannot go through that alone. You need the support of either friends or loved ones,
Mhm,
um, or an angel in your life. And for me, or for Andy, the angel in our life happened to be my mom. She's been so instrumental in this journey. I mean, she's been selfless, just loving, and ever since Andy's mom passed away, she took up the role of being, the
mom and
grandmother
grandma
and a
all at
mom
once.
to Andy. I mean, without whom, I mean, I don't know how this journey would have been.
How
I
it
don't know
would
how
have
this
turned
journey
out.
would have been like. Yeah, how things would have turned like. I mean,
Mhm,
many times would end up in the hospital, and should be there throughout the
mhm,
whole stay with Andy. Um,
mhm,
in the hospital while I would commute back and forth. And I
Mhm.
mean, it's been many. We've spent a a lot of
In the
days in the.
hospital.
I mean,
Yeah.
so many visits, and she's
Mm,
been there every single time for 17 years
mm,
and counting. Yeah.
mhm.
Um,
And Mother's Day was it last
this
weekend?
past
Yes, Mother's Day
Sunday,
was last
yeah,
weekend. So
yeah,
our hats go off to,
goes out to her.
yes, your
Yeah,
mom.
she's
What's
been a
what's her name?
wonderful mother. Christina,
Okay, our hat
yeah,
goes off to
to
Mama
her. She's
Christina
yeah,
for
yeah.
being Andy's angel,
Angel,
Andy's mom, Andy's grandma,
grandma, caretaker,
also
yeah.
helping in the care of
Yeah.
Andy's mom when, she was really sick, couldn't
Mm-hmm.
take care of herself. She helped take care of her as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so our hearts go off to her. She is blessed. She's
Mm-hmm.
blessed. And we
Really,
we we honor we honor Mama Christina for being
absolutely,
part of your journey.
absolutely,
And
yeah.
also to all those incredible doctors and incredible nurses who fought
Mm-hmm.
over Andy. I mean, if that was a sign,
Yes.
if that was
Mm-hmm.
ever a sign, it was to let us know that Andy was special and he was going to be loved
Yes.
by just about everyone. And he's still
Yeah.
doing his part. He's here doing what
Mm-hmm.
God put him here to do. He's
Mm-hmm.
spreading joy and love, and he's blessing everyone that he comes in contact with. And so you, Jojo, your mom, Christina, all
Mm-hmm.
those doctors, all those nurses, we thank you
Yes. Yeah.
for your journey and for making it possible to have
Possible. Yeah.
and be around and for him to continue to bless us.
Yes.
So we're going to wrap up now. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we do that, Jojo?
Um. Um. Well, again, thank you for having me. Uh.
Sure,
You
sure.
know, thanks to the audience, and yeah,
Mhm.
that's
We
all
we
I
have
have.
to keep the faith, don't we? We just have to
Yes.
keep the faith.
Yeah.
Right
Keep
when
the faith and keep the
there's a
journey alive.
saying that, the footprints in the sand that,
Mhm.
there are two sets of footprints, and then at a certain point there's only one, and then this person asked God, "Well, why are there only one set of footprints in the sand?" He said,
Mhm.
"Oh, that's when I carried you.
Oh.
You were walking alongside of me, and then when you couldn't walk any longer, that's when I carried you. So that's why there was two sets initially, and then finally there was only one set." So just anyone listening out there, if you're going, whatever it is that you're going through, there's help, there's support. I mean, God has a way of just planting these amazing angels in our path. And when we can't go it alone, these people rise to the occasion and help take the load off and make it all possible. So thank you so much, Jojo, for spending the better half of
You're
your
welcome.
morning with me. And
My
I wish
pleasure.
you and Andy the very best. And let us know if there's anything that we can do on our end to make your journey a
Thank
little
you.
bit easier. You're very
Thank you.
welcome. So until next time, this is Dr. Quadu signing off again with the Smile Code. We'll see you next time.